Welcome back. If you are returning, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Cheyenne from Soulful Soothe. I will be reading for you today. We are going to be getting into messages from your grandmother. Now, this message is specifically for anybody who has been seeing their grandmother's birthday on license plates, on billboards, just any place in general, or you've been feeling your grandmother's presence. I want you to close your eyes, do some deep breathing, whatever you need to do to get in sync with the energy of how you viewed your grandmother as a child. I'm gonna light some Palo Santo. I just cleaned with some rue water for protection. And as I say the invocation or the prayer, I want you to call on your grandmother as well as any other ascended masters or guides, anybody from your spirit team that you're comfortable with being present during such an intimate thing. So without further ado, dear Divine, thank you so much for connecting me with the collective watching this reading right now. I pray that you would place a hedge of protection around and about this area so that no negative entities can permeate and that we can get clear channeled messages from the collective's grandmother. Okay, that's a message already in itself. See how I was flicking that and it wouldn't go out? Yeah. Thank you so much for the prayers that our grandmothers have prayed over us that hold us to this day. I pray that the messages that come through will uplift, inspire, maybe even entertain, and propel us forward to the path that you would have us to be on. With so much love in our hearts, clarity in our minds, and gratitude on our lips, we say thank you. Okay, y'all, so y'all saw how I was lighting the Palo Santo and the flame would not go out. So the message there, I believe, is that for some of y'all, the prayers of your grandmothers are still holding you, still keeping you to this day. Now, when I say prayers, I don't necessarily mean like your grandmama down on her knees, you know, old school praying. For some of you, that may be the case, but for me personally, my grandmother was not a very pious woman. She had her connection with the divine, but she didn't go to church often. Like, truth be told, the one time I saw that woman in a church house was when my mother was eulogizing her. And I don't say that as like a bad thing, because hell, I don't go to church now, but I feel more connected to the divine now than I ever did when I was in church. So earlier today, like before I started pulling cards and stuff, I was getting this message that for some of y'all, your grandmother was a very unconventional woman. Like, she definitely did things her own way, and she didn't pay attention to the naysayers, is what I just heard. But what I really wanted to say is that she didn't really pay attention to society standards or like what society had laid out for her. She didn't really pay attention to the status quo. So if you feel like that fits for your grandmother and her personality, especially if she's passed on at this point, that's double confirmation that this reading is for you. So let's dive in and let's see what's tea. So the first card we have out is Mother of Knives. We have the Ace of Knives, Death. In this deck, it's ancestors. And we have Five of Sticks or Five of Wands in reverse, as well as the Lovers in reverse. I'll come back to these later, but I just really want to focus on these right now. So for some of you, your grandmother was definitely an air sign. She doesn't have to be an air sign, but she's coming through as this very intelligent, wise figure. Now, I know like most people view their grandmothers and elders in general as wise, but I'm saying that because with the Mother of Knives and the specific story behind this card is one of like leadership of the Eastern Stars, especially in the Black community, Black American community. Eastern Stars and Masons are like one of the first like secret societies that we could join. And a lot of people had like their superstitions, their beliefs about it. So I feel like this furthers that message that I was saying earlier about like your grandmother doing things in a very unconventional way. Like it didn't make sense to other people, but it made sense to her. And I'm really drawn to like how this woman, this is giving me High Priestess vibes as well. She's not looking at the book. It's like she opened the book to a random page, put the knife there wherever it was supposed to go, like bibliomancy. That's what it is. So another form of divination is literally taking the Bible. Let's do it right now, actually. Taking the Bible, randomly flipping through and landing on a page. Wow. Okay, that's very, 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 very telling. This is a Bible that I've had since my youth. I've not touched this Bible in quite some time, but the fact that we open to this page and we've got omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, so those are qualities of God. So for some of you, you definitely view your grandmother as like this very ascended master. I feel like this person who really had a good grasp on the laws of the universe and not really the laws of man. But for those of you who are really interested into the scripture that this landed on, it's Psalm 139. So I want to say that this is one of David's Psalms about warfare. That's how I want to describe it. Maybe we'll come back to that later. I don't know. We'll see. But with the Ace of Knives coming out next to this card here, is definitely giving, she wants you to pay attention to something. For some of you, she's passing the baton to you. Like, you will be the next like big maternal figure in your family, whether that's you like cooking for holidays or making sure that like the family gets together outside of like weddings and funerals, that sort of thing. Like the next person in line is you. And for some of you, I get that you're questioning this, especially because you're like, well, that should be my mama. Like it should be going, you know, down the line in chronological order, but no, she's chosen you to do this. With the Death card here, what I'm getting is, okay, this is an oddly specific message, but for some of you, you were born right after the death of your grandmother and you never really had like a physical connection with her. If that is the case, the last message that I just spoke to about you being the next matriarch, that's definitely true for you. You have a lot of qualities, features, mannerisms, just things in general about you that remind your family members of her. It's almost like they look at you and they see her. I'm getting that specifically from this like half skeleton on the baby's face. I've never read this card that way, but that's what's coming through. Now, the Five of Wands in reverse and the Lovers in reverse. Let me tap into these energies and spend some time with Spirit. Okay, earlier I said For some of you, your grandmother might be a Libra, I believe is what I said. I'm getting that could be in her like big three. Now, for people who were born before they were like really checking time like by the minute for births, it's going to be difficult to put together like a birth chart for somebody that's really, I want to say, over the age of like 65 really. But with this Lovers in reverse, I'm getting Gemini energy as well. Overall, I see a lot of air energy, so Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. It's almost like your grandmother had to be like the smartest person in your family. She had to make a lot of like really smart decisions. And I know that sounds generic, like, duh, we all have to make smart decisions, because if you keep moving stupid, then you just gonna be shit out of luck, right? But I'm really getting this very like strong figure who, for some of you, maybe grandfather wasn't around, or your grandmother was a widow or divorced or something of that nature, especially with the Lovers being in reverse. 5 of Sticks, 5 of Wands being in reverse. Like, this is lots of gossipy energy. So maybe your grandmother was involved in some sort of like taboo relationship. Just in general, like, people didn't approve of the way that she did things, or the way the person that she was with, like, whatever. I just see a lot of like gossiping and you know, people with their opinions. Now, as you see in this card, this woman is separate from these people that are doing all the gossiping and shit talking, right? This is definitely giving me a vibe of people had a lot of stuff to say, but it wasn't really nothing that they could do about it. And when I said nothing they could do about it, I was drawn back to the Lovers in reverse. The Lovers is not just about romantic love or making a decision. It's also about action, because two people can't come together. You know how they say it takes two people to tango, it takes two to tango, whatever that phrasing is. The Lovers to me is also about action, because you can sit up here and say all day that you love somebody, you care for them, whatever. But if you don't put any action behind those feelings, the other person can't really perceive them as love. So I think next to the 5 of Wands in reverse, this is definitely giving me like people had a lot of opinions about her, but they couldn't do shit. They couldn't. And even you, like, people may have a lot of opinions about you being her favorite, or you looking so much like her, or having her mannerisms, or doing things the way that she would have done them, but they can't touch you. They can't say shit to you. Yeah, 5 of Coins in reverse, another 5. 5 of Coins or 5 of Pentacles is about feeling left out in the cold. I'm trying to find a non-generic way of saying this. It's like, again, just this whole idea of like people having a lot to say. And see, even like on this card here, like, it looks like he's saying a lot. And you see how he's over here with her, like this looks like a grandmother figure. It's like people have a lot to say, but you're heavily protected. So this could be other family members, but it also could be just like people in your everyday life that have so much to say about you, but like they can't touch you because, again, her prayers are still protecting. You're not in this lack energy of the 5 of Coins, because her legacy is one of putting your money where your mouth is. Now, it's interesting that I say put your money where your mouth is, because Pentacles is often referred to as like the money suit of tarot. So it talks about, you know, financial gain, loss, etc., etc. Both 5 of Wands and 5 of Pentacles in reverse speaks to challenge, difficulty, and the fact that both of these are in reverse, this lets me know that it's not something to tread lightly with, and it's not been something easy to navigate. But in Christian numerology specifically, 5s represent grace. So that also lets me know, again, further confirmation that her prayers are still carrying you. My nose is itching incessantly right now. So that lets me know that I'm definitely channeling someone's grandmother for sure. Let's see what else she has to say. 10 of Knives. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to read from the book, but I think the story with this card is there was some sort of preacher or somebody who was doing some shady shit in the church, and he left the church and they attacked this man. They killed him. So for some of you, wow, I just realized too, we got the Ace and the 10 of Knives, or 10 of Swords, Ace of Swords. So for some of you, like I said, she's chosen you to be the next matriarch, the next person to look to in the family. Others of you, this just is indicative of you being the curse breaker. Now, whenever I talk about the curse breaker, I like to talk about David and King Solomon, King David and King Solomon in the Bible, which is interesting that we had the psalm to show up, because a lot of the psalms, not all of them, a lot of the psalms were written by King David. But so a lot of people looked at David as like, you know, God's chosen one. He was going to do all these great things, blah, 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 blah. But I think, and this is just my personal commentary, I think that a lot of his sins, his personal hubris is what got in the way of him fulfilling that prophecy. So when we look in the scriptures, we see that he wasn't able to build the temple, but Solomon, his son, was able to build the temple. So it's almost like she was able to lay the foundation. She was able to do this difficult, hard work. Because, like, look at all the energy that's over here. This is Scorpio energy, Libra, Aquarius, Gemini. She was able to do all of this hard work, but it wasn't able to, the hard work wasn't able to yield like physical results. I'm hearing the stone that the builder refused. So it's like she was able to lay the metaphysical, the spiritual groundwork, and you are the one who is able to bring things into this realm, into like bringing her manifestations into fruition. Like she wasn't able to see it, but you're going to be able to see it. Woo! There it is. So in this deck, this is the Star. So this card specifically talks about the hope that we have as a family, but specifically in the Black family. In the American Black experience, like a lot of us, our great grandparents and great grandparents were owned as slaves, and you know, they couldn't even imagine the shit that we are able to do today. You know, I feel like I often think about this, especially this last week. I don't know why, but my great grandmother Lily, if I could sit down and talk with her and I were to tell her what I do for a living, and you know, the amount of freedom and the amount of time freedom, the amount of money freedom that I have, like I imagine she would be in disbelief. So this is all, wow, this is also Aquarius energy. So yeah, this is definitely confirmation for me yet again that this is all about the legacy, longevity and legacy. That's what I keep hearing, longevity and legacy. Like I know we say this all the time on the social medias, like we are our ancestors' wildest dreams, but no, for real, like we're their wildest dreams, because like okay, think about it this way. Like when you're sitting down thinking about like your future, you're laying in bed at night and you're thinking about like the technological advances that are going to happen, you know, in your adult lifetime, but in your kids, like the things that they're going to see, the the things that they're going to experience, like we can only imagine so far, because our imagination, even though it's like ethereal and like up in the sky, our imagination can only go as far as what we find in the realm of possibility. What do I mean by that? Yes, our imagination, especially in our dream states, can come up with these really bizarre things, like a 3-headed dog, or you getting on stage and you talking to a big crowd of 5,000 people, and then boom, you're naked. Like, our imagination can come up with these really wild, vivid images. However, if you think about it, most of the places that you can see in your dream state, or the things that you're doing in your dream state, like those pretty much seem like plausible things that could happen, in the 3D, in real life right now. Even if they're a little far-fetched. Even the post-apocalyptic dreams, like, especially after the coronavirus, like, none of this shit seems implausible anymore, is my point. So I feel like you being the curse breaker, or you being the one to like physically build the foundation, you are fulfilling her dreams in some sort of way. Wow, another 5. Yeah. And interesting enough, like, this is the only 5 that's upright. I actually like this card, 5 of Cups, upright, because for one, this lets me know that your grandmother was human. She had some remorse or some regret about the way that she did things, especially with this coming up over the Lovers in reverse. Like, the Lovers, again, is about making choices. So she definitely lamented about some of the choices she made, possibly in love, possibly with money, as most of us do, But 5 of Cups is not just about what's knocked over, what's lost. In the original iteration of this card, there's a man standing looking at 3 cups that are knocked over, but behind him are 2 cups that are upright. So this lets me know that she still has hope. She still has faith. She still believes in you. And even if you have these like moments of self-doubt, or just like questioning, the path overall, like, she's saying that she believes in you. She knows that you can do it. She knows that you are the one. And as I say that, I'm being reminded of the Matrix. So the first Matrix, when they took Neo to the Oracle, and she told him that he wasn't the one, but Morpheus really believed it, and so because he believed it, he was going to give his life, and this, that, and the third, right? Is also giving that energy of like, are you the one because you are the one, because it's truly fated, or are you the one because of her belief? And me personally, I think it's a little bit of both. It's your ability to overcome your own personal challenges, your own personal hardships, but it's also like something that she saw in you, or something that she was able to see like into you before you were able to even speak, really. Like, for some of you, she saw your birth, she foretold your birth, maybe even named you. My grandmother technically named me. And I only say technically because that's another story for another day. But Spirit, can you speak to some of the challenges that the collective's grandmother was not able to overcome, that she wants the collective to overcome? Ooh. Satisfaction. Satisfaction and stability. So let's break this card down. This is the 4 of Cups. Cups is about emotions. So water signs, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. The number 4 is about stability, structure, and action, yet again. You see how this person is like not really paying attention to this cup that's like drawn out of thin air. I always look at this cup as like the divine, the universe, God giving us an opportunity and us pouting about the opportunity because of the way it looks. So this lets me know that there was something in your grandmother's life that didn't really satisfy her. It didn't satiate the desires that she had in her heart, in her mind, something of that nature. So your challenge in this lifetime, what she's passed the baton on to you, is to find that satisfaction, to find that true north, to find what makes you feel good. And as I say that, my eyes were drawn to this calendar that I have in the corner of my desk. It says, do what you love most. So yeah, further confirmation, like this is definitely about her not being able to live out her desires and her wanting you to just go have fun, go do the things, go explore. Anything else, Spirit? Yeah. Page of Swords in reverse. There's a lot of swords energy here. Like, are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Like a lot of it's not missed on me that all these swords are on the board. For me, that's indicating that it's not only just, you know, something that's in your head that you're thinking about. Like, this is something that even now, like her on the other side, like she still thinks about this. Like, it's in the air, it's in the ethers. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness, I'm about to cry. Like, okay, let me go back. Page of Swords in reverse. This is definitely giving that Libra energy, Aquarius energy, Gemini energy that I was speaking to. Like somebody who has this like insatiable need to know, to do, to explore. And all things know thyself is what I just heard. Like to go out and do the damn thing. But with this being in reverse, this lets me know that something was stunted. Like, there's no knights here. This page, so like maybe as a young child, as a youth, your grandmother was either separated from family or she just didn't get to go as far as she wanted to. But she knows that you can. This is the Ten of Pentacles. This is the ultimate family card. So it feels like you have these really big shoes to fill, but it's not in the sense of like the status quo. I don't want you to get confused in that, oh, she wants me to, you know, open a multi-million-dollar business and do this and do that. Like literally, she just wants you to figure out how to be satisfied, how to bring stability and structure to the family. There's this element of like, again, what I was saying earlier about like doing things against the status quo. So as long as you're satisfied, as long as you're happy, especially if you've been wondering about like making a decision like, damn, I really wonder what my grandma would want me to do in such and such situation. She just wants you to make the choice that's going to bring you the most satisfaction, the most fulfilling, what's going to be the healthiest overall for you. Any further guidance for the collective? Spirit, any further guidance for the collective? What was that? Okay, I'm gonna take that, but there was one that flipped, I feel like. Whew. This feels heavy. But like heavy in a good way. Okay, maybe not. I'm gonna shuffle one more time just to see. Not, wow. Wow. It's like I'm psychic or something. Nine of Cups. This is the ultimate card of like self-actualization, of like self-fulfilling prophecies, and not in the negative way that we normally use that word or that term. Like, do it till you're satisfied, whatever it is. Do it till you're satisfied. Yes. Like, I feel like that's a perfect, wow. And then didn't I say like with the 4, it's about action. So on the bottom of the decks, we have here the Emperor, which I don't find it odd that we have the Emperor showing up in this reading when I'm channeling information from our grandmothers, because the energy that I was feeling at the very beginning of this reading was like this very intense mother figure. Like, maybe, you know, she made dinners and, doted on you and took you to the park or whatever. But for the vast majority of you, I'm sensing that like your grandmother was not everybody's cup of tea. She had very masculine features of herself. For some of you, this could be physical features, like she was just very strong and known to like beat them up. Or her personality was just this very endearing, strong figure. And people had a lot of things to say about her, but they couldn't do shit because they wasn't gonna do shit because they knew. And so, yeah, another, so like, I feel like we have every single sword out here except for 2 of Swords. Okay, maybe there's more that we don't have out here, but it feels like a lot of air energy. Now, I know a lot of times when we look at the 3 of Swords, we think of like romantic love, romantic partnership, breakups, endings of relationships, things of that nature. But I just really feel like, yeah, especially with this 10 of Wands in reverse coming up. Like, is that the third 10 that we have? Yeah, it's the third 10 that we have. I just really feel like this speaks to and confirms like how tired she was. Like, she took it as far as she could, and like now she's trusting you. She's trusting you to go the distance, to go the mile, to take it one step further. And while you may feel like it's impossible to do, I want you to remember that she's not asking you to build this multi-million-dollar estate or this big grandiose business. She's not asking you to do that. She's just asking that you really consider your options and choose what's going to be best for you. Not make choices based on other people's desires or other people's concerns or other people's whatever. She just wants you to do what's best for you. She wants you to put yourself first. And for some of you, you may be confused about what that looks like, but okay, reader hat off. The first step is healing your nervous system, especially if you had a very traumatic childhood or a very traumatic life in general. The first step is to heal your nervous system, because I know on these social media streets, we hear all the time, like, trust your gut and follow your intuition, but it's not always safe to trust our gut, and it's not always safe to follow our intuition. Why? Now, I know people may eat me up for saying it's not always safe to follow intuition, but what I mean by that is it's not always safe to follow what we perceive as our intuition, because we've had all this time operating in fight or flight mode. When you're constantly moving in survival mode, meaning, what am I going to eat tonight? What am I going to eat in the morning? You can't seem to save to build a nest egg, things of that nature. When you don't have stability, when you don't have that structure, when you're operating in survival mode, when it's literally just like, I'm just focused on getting through this next hour or this next day or this week, when you can't really look forward to the future, it's hard to make sound decisions. Like, our brains are wired to make snap decisions based on our survival. But when we can move out of survival mode, i.e. healing the nervous system, tending to those wounds that she wasn't able to heal, or tending to those wounds that you weren't able to heal during childhood because you were a child and you were just going through it, right? When you're not able to heal those things, your perspective, your perception is jaded. So that's why I say it's difficult to make sound, solid choices if your nervous system is not healed. So if you're looking for action items, the action items are to heal thyself. And in you healing yourself, possibly walking away from things that aren't fulfilling, possibly walking away from family members who aren't supportive, possibly walking away from your own self-sabotage and the shit that you do on a regular basis that bring your vibration down, aren't conducive to your forward momentum and your forward movement. As you do those things, that's what heals the nervous system. And once you, and I don't want to say healed as in like it's a one and done type process, because it's not. But once you've had enough healing as to where you can sit down and say, oh damn, you know, this thing happened this week, but I remember 2 years ago I would not have responded as well as I did today, or as well as I did this week. When you can sit down and have those sorts of moments with yourself, that's how you'll know that your nervous system is healed enough for you to make better decisions. And so it's a process. It's a process. But the promise is, the reward is that you will get this 10 of Pentacles. You will see a shift in your family dynamic, whether that's you building and creating your own family, or current relationships within this family unit are healed, whatever it is. The promise is that there will be healing, there will be stability, there will be structure, there will be a solid foundation, and the legacy will continue. So that's what I'm getting for you today. I hope that this message was able to help in some way. I hope that it was uplifting. I hope maybe you got some entertainment out of it. And I hope that this brought you some clarity, especially with this Ace of Swords here. It's the only ace we have on the board. So yeah, I hope that this brought some clarity and maybe even some peace, some stillness to your spirit. But whenever you're watching this, I love you so much. You know where to find me if you need me. If you want to book a personal reading, the link is down in the description box below. And until next time, I love you so much. Ciao.